Today I'm going to show you how to create new pages in PowerCMS and how to display those pages on your website. Many of our customers like to hand off the CMS to a client, but need their client to be able to create new pages from a template. This video will give you the power to do that. First, make sure you've set up your site and gotten PowerCMS running with Design Extender, PowerCMS, or PowerCMS Builder. Next, browse to your CMS, which is located at your website address /admin_CMS, and go ahead and log in. In my example, I have a site for dog enthusiasts, and I'm going to have my clients add blog posts to the website. So first I want to set up my template in the CMS. I click the plus sign next to content, and I type a name for this template. I'll name the template blog posts. Check Use as Template and click Add. You will see the template indicated by the multiple pages icon here, now in your CMS navigation. Doing this alone does not add a page to your website. So next we want to add content areas to the template. Make sure you've clicked on your templates, and you can see you get one content area by default. I'll go ahead and just use this default one as my blog post content. Let's also set up a title for my blog posts. So I'm going to add another content area by clicking Add Content, and I'm going to name it Blog Post Title. Now my content areas are all set up for my client to add blog post pages. So let's go ahead and add the first blog post. Click the plus button next to the template here, and we're going to name our first blog post. I'll call mine Dog Park. So now we have a new page, and you can see it automatically knows how to pick up the two content areas. I'm going to go ahead and edit those. So the title of my blog post is going to be at New Dog Park Opened. Then I'll edit the blog post itself, and I'm just going to put in some lorem ipsum. Click Update, and we have our first blog post. I'm going to go ahead and add some more blog posts so that we have some material to work with once we start creating the actual pages. So you can see I have 4 blog posts now. I'm going to go ahead and toggle over to Dreamweaver. There are 2 pages I'm going to help you develop so that the templated CMS pages you created will dynamically display whenever a new page is created from that template in the CMS. The first is a results page to dynamically pull all the blog post titles in. We'll link it to the second page, which is a detail page with the entire posts displayed dynamically. You'll want to add a link to the results page somewhere on your site so the visitors can actually see your blog posts somewhere. You could just add a link, or you could add them into your site's menu. So let's go ahead and create the first page. I'm going to create it from my template and save it to my site. I need a record set on the page so that we can pull the content from the database that the PowerCMS inserts into. So I will click Insert, Data Objects, Record Set. I'll name my record set Blog RS for record set. It knows my database connection since I have PowerCMS set up correctly on this site. And for you, it might default to the simple record set interface. If it does that, you want to go ahead and click Advanced. You can copy the SQL that you're going to need to paste here out of the video description. I'll go ahead and put it there on YouTube. The only thing you'll need to change in the SQL is between the single quotes right here. You're going to want to put in your template name that you set up in the CMS. Right here, mine is blog posts. Whatever you named your template is what you're going to want to have in between these single quotes in the SQL. Go ahead and click OK. If you don't have the bindings panel open yet, go ahead and open that by clicking Window and Bindings. And you'll be able to see here that the record set was added to your page. Now we go back to the CMS, pick the content area that you want to display on your results page. So for me, on my results page, I want to display all the blog post titles. So I click on Blog Posts, and then for the blog post title content area, I'm going to click Developer Notes. And I'm going to copy this code block that it gave me. I want the titles to display right here on my results page. So over in Code View, I'm going to paste that code in. There is one piece of code you'll need to add to this. After the false statement, you want to type a comma and a space, then go over to the bindings panel, and under the record set you created, there'll be a binding called Content Page Set Order. You're going to drag that over to the code. So now you should see false, comma, and the Content Page Set Order binding. Let's go ahead and save this page and preview it in a browser. What it will display is the topmost page that you created in your PowerCMS template. But we want to display all our posts. So let's go back to Dreamweaver, select the PHP tag, and we're going to add a repeat region. Insert, Data Objects, Repeat Region. You want your record set that you set up earlier, and you want to choose how many records to display at a time. I'm going to say all. This wraps a repeat region around the titles that I have pulling in from my CMS. I'll save it, and I'll preview it in the browser, and now you can see all of my blog post titles are being pulled. Now we'll add a blog post detail page. Then we'll come back and add a link to these blog post titles so that you can drill down to the entire blog post. So for the detail page, I'm going to create a new page from my site's template, save it as the detail page, go back to your results page that you created. In the bindings panel, click on the record set, click at the arrow at the upper right of the panel and click copy. Go back to your detail page, go over to the bindings panel and click the arrow and click paste. And now you can see that record set has been copied to my detail page. We need to edit it, so go ahead and double click it. And where it says Content Page Set Order is not null, we need to change that to a new parameter. So we're going to be passing in the blog posts. So I'm going to say equals, and I'll name it post. Then we're going to add a variable. This needs to match the name you just chose in that parameter. So I'm going to choose post. We want to keep integer. The default value should be -1. For the runtime value, we need to use $, $get, and then in brackets and quotes, we'll put ID. Click OK and OK, and the record set has been updated on my page. Now we want to add the title and the content of the blog post on this page. So we'll go back to the CMS, make sure we're at the template level. Mine is blog posts. We're going to get developer notes from the blog post title, copy it, paste it onto our detail page. Remember, you want to do this in code view since it's PHP. And then we'll add a paragraph tag. You can obviously format your post however you want. Go back to the CMS and we're going to get the blog post content. So I'm going to click on developer notes, copy that, and paste that onto my page as well. Just like we did on the results page, we need, after each false statement, we need to add a comma, space, and drag over the content page set order binding from the bindings panel. Go ahead and save that. So let's go back to the results page and add a link to this detail page so that we can pass in the ID. Go ahead and select the PHP tag. And you can see when you're clicking on a PHP tag, the property inspector doesn't let you add a link around it. So we'll need to do this manually. In the code, let's go ahead and add a link. Type in A space href equals. When you add your quote, it's going to let you browse to the file. So our detail page is called blog details. We'll select that. After PHP, we're going to put question mark ID. Now ID is what we used when we defined the variable on our detail page. So as long as you typed get ID when we were adding that variable, then ID is the same variable you can add here. So ID equals, and then again, we're going to drag over the content page set order binding from the bindings panel. And then don't forget your closing A tag. Make sure you've done this inside the repeat region. So before your A tag, you should have PHP do, and after your closing A tag, you should have PHP while. Now let's save this and preview it in the browser. And you can see I have links here now. And now when we click on each of our links, we will get to each of our blog posts. So here's my first one. And if I go back, I can go to the second one. And even though I have lorem ipsum in here, you can see that it changes because it matches each of my posts that I put in the CMS. Now, say you eventually have 50 blog posts. You might not want them all listed on this page. This page might get kind of out of control. So I'll show you how to limit how many you display, and then we can add pagination links. So let's go back to Dreamweaver. Make sure you're on your results page in Dreamweaver. Open the server behaviors panel, which you may already have open if you have the bindings panel open. Otherwise, you can go to Window and select server behaviors. Double click on the repeat region that we had added in earlier and choose how many records to show at a time. Since I only have 4 total records, I'm going to only show 2 at a time, so we have something to work with. Then let's go ahead and click Insert, Data Objects, Record Set Paging, Record Set Navigation Bar. Make sure we have the same record set selected, and I'm going to display my first, next, previous, and last links for the record set paging with text. I'll save this and preview it in a browser. And now you can see I've got 2 blog posts with links to the next pages. If you were showing 10 at a time for 50, this would make a little bit more sense. If you'd like, you can also create a page just like this with the title and the content and then record set paging on that page. Go back to Dreamweaver. Create a new page from your template. Save it. Go to the results page, the bindings panel, and copy your record set. Go back to the page, that's the detail page that we're going to add record set paging to, and paste that record set. Then we want to add our title and content developer notes, just like we did on our other detail page. So I've added both of the developer notes. We need to do the same thing as before and add the content page set order binding. Then let's select this whole area and add a repeat region. You can do that in the server behaviors panel. We'll only show 1 record at a time. And then we'll go ahead and add record set paging. Insert data objects, record set paging, record set navigation bar. Save it and preview it in a browser. And now I can page through each of the blog posts. You can obviously do some formatting, make this look really great, but that's pretty much it. So you want to set up the template and the content areas in PowerCMS. You want to set up your pages in Dreamweaver and then link to them from the menu or from anywhere else on your website. And then let your clients add the content in PowerCMS and it will dynamically display on your website. As always, visit us at www.webassist.com for more information or for technical support.